In how many days it will finish the full course?
Usually it takes 40 to 45 sessions, 1 hour each. So, oh yeah, it will go around a month and a half.
So you are going to create any application using Appian?
Yes, we will be creating one basic applications from end-to-end workflow. So at the end of the training, you will have one working application with you.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't go with topic to topic wise. We just start designing one application and then we see that which whatever object is required to define when. So that gives you a good idea that when you need an object to be created at what particular of time. So if we go with topic to topic wise, it will be very difficult to actually connect it and to know understand when we need which what object. So this approach works very well. So we decide a use case and then work on it.
Okay.
Right. All right. Yeah, if you guys don't have any questions, we can straight away start um, the first class from today onwards, and then we see that how it goes. Okay. So, do you guys have anything in your mind? What kind of use case you wanted to go with, or you guys want me to decide it? If you have anything in your mind, bring it up. All right. So yesterday we were talking about the customer onboarding, right? So we can go with that. We can have a flow where we can take an input from the users, and then we can onboard a customer. So we can have a site. We can create a site for a bank or any other company. We can create a site, and then we can also have some other workflows if you want, like approval request for leave request, or we can also have some request creation. So if you guys have anything in your mind, just bring it up that we can go with this use case. Otherwise we can go with leave management. That gives you a better idea because it will also require an approval process for managers. So that's also a good idea to do that, which can also have some customer search screen and all, right? So it's a good use case. So shall we proceed with the leave management? Yes, no?
Yeah, sure.
All right,
Yeah.
thanks, Hassan. All right, let me share my screen. You guys can see my screen now. So yesterday, I hope Shams you was not there. I have also walked through this Appian shoots where we do the design and development of the application. What was the view we see that? Uh, I Do you know already about it, or you want me to walk you through again? We can do that if you have not gone through the recordings.
We are totally new here.
Okay. So in Appian, basically, right now we are working on cloud version. This is an practice environment shared by the Appian. So they give you some practice environment where you can go and practice. So you will get an this environment for practice. So here we have a couple of shoots which is used for a development. So the first shoot that we have is called Tempo. Tempo is basically the this is for the basic users where you can take an action, you can see the records, you can complete your task. So this is the first suite that Appian gives as a for the basic users, right? All these actions and tasks you can work it here. You can see the records and reports that will be created for the applications. Second suite that we have is called designers. So if you click on this grid icon and then go to the Appian Designer. So in the Appian Designer is basically for the developers where we actually do the developing for our applications. And we can create an application here. We can check the instances. We can deploy the code. So all those things we can do it from this particular shoot. The third suite that we have is called cloud database. In case you do not have your own database like MariaDB or SQL Server or Oracle, Appian also gives you in-house database. This is MariaDB, where you can go and develop your tables and procedures, views, everything you can do it. So the fourth suite is called admin console. Admin console is basically to handle the admin sites, like if where you can define the logo of your application, you can define users, you can manage users, you can also manage what kind of files you will allow to upload the system, and admin side works is available to the admin console. So as this user is a developer credential, so we don't have admin console here, but you can also see the admin console if you are a system administrator. Okay. All right, this was a basic, we can go see the previous recording, you will have more idea. All right, as we are talking about the users, in Appian, we have two kinds of users. One users is system administrator, one is the basic user. Let me show you. So if you see here, right, in the profile, uh, this is kind of a basic user and system administrator. So this is a basic user. So in basic user, we can allow a basic user to do the development, right? So what we can do is that along with this basic user, we need to also provide the access of some designer, and then some process model creation access, so that this particular user can create and develop the objects in Appian. Now the second type user is called system administrator. System administrator is can do anything in your environment. They can have admin access, they can design the objects, they can create an application, everything they can do. Now basic user has been two parts, like if I create a basic user but I do not give them the access of the development, right, so they will not be able to do the developments, right? So what we need to do is that there is a group called designer in Appian. So this is a we do not have to create it, we it's provided by the Appian side, Appian admin. So this designer, any basic user, if we go and add the users in this particular group, then that basic user will have the development access. Okay. All right. So to do the development, we need two kind of users. Either, yeah. Uh, I am getting some noise. Anyone else also getting the same? It's gone now. Okay. Hello. Can you hear me now?
Yes, you are audible
Yeah,
now.
yes, yes,
Yes, yes.
yes, yes. All right. So thank you, Sneha. So yeah, so I was talking, right. So to create an application, if you are a basic user, you should have the permission of the designer access group. So we need to use add the users to the designer group. All right. Now we need to create an application because what is an application? First of all, an application is we can say a package, where we keep all those objects at one place. So sorry, we do not have to search for the application here and there. Just you can see that it's a kind of a bag where we collect all those objects related to that particular application. Okay, so we say new application. When you see the new application, it will ask for to give the name of that application. So as we are talking about leave management system, we can say leave management system. All right. So once you give the name, Appian will suggest you the prefix of this particular application. What's a prefix? Prefix is like the short form of your application name. So you see LMS. It is taken from this leave management system. You can also, if you want, you can change this prefix. So this prefix, whatever prefix you will allow here, so in future, whatever object we will create for this application, all object will start from the LMS. Okay, we can put a description, an application for applying leave. Okay, so and then we have this particular checkbox. So this checkbox says that generate groups and folders to secure and organize your objects. If you don't check this checkbox, none of the uh, no object will be get created inside our application. But if we check this checkbox for our easiness and for our to help us, it will create 7 objects. There are certain folders which will be used for keeping the rules and expressions that we will be created, and then process model that will be created. So for that, it will create a process models. It will also create 2 groups. One is the system administrator group, and then the one is the viewer group. So these groups will be required to secure our objects and to provide the access for our applications. So those 2 groups will be get created, and it will also create one knowledge center. Knowledge center is kind of a repository which is used to keep all those folders and any documents inside it. Okay, so we see all those things. We'll talk about this in details, like for each object that are going to create. So we are going to check this checkbox and then click on create. Okay, so you see this one, there are two group has been created, LMS administrator 1 and LMS users 1. I think it is taking 1 because there might be possibility that these 2 users are already available into the system, so that's why they have added 1 here. But in ideally it should not be. I mean, let me quickly check. I click on save. Once we click on save, you will see that an application has been created here, leave management system. These are the options that we have. If we click on this back arrow icon, you will back to this system, and here you can see that one leave management system application has been created. Now inside this application, what are the objects that we have? If you go to the build option, you see that 7 items has been created. One is the administrator group, user group. Uh, this is the LMS process model folder. This is the artifacts one, application documentation, knowledge center, and rules and constants. So as you see, all this one is having one. I don't. This might be this name is already available to the system. That's why it is adding add. Let me quickly check here. No, it's not. But yeah, it is adding add. Okay, Appian is adding add from one from inside. That's fine. Okay, so these are the objects that has been created. Now let me talk about all these objects in details. Before we move for any questions do you guys have in your mind? How do we create an application? Yes, no? All right. So what are the objects we have in Appian which help us to develop an application? So if you click on the new, you will see that there are certain application objects are listed here which we will be creating for our application development purpose. Okay. Okay. So let's start with the data type. So what's the data type? Anyone? Any idea what's the data type? Come on, guys. What's the data type? In general, not in Appian. I'm asking in general. What's the data type? What do you, by the name? What do you think about it?
Normally, we use in SQL data type like virgin, integer, like
Okay,
so.
that's
It is the
correct.
same thing.
Yeah, it's a kind of same thing. So in Appian, the data type, it means that, let's say, those are the things that you said, right? Where char in or integer, those are called primitive data types, right? So primitive data types are boolean, integer, text, number, right? So these are the primitive data types. Now, if you want to collect different data types and create one structure. Now, let's say if I talk about the employee, so employee can have name, address, email, mobile number, age, date of joining. So we are combining multiple primitive data types to create one structure, right? So that's called Appian data type. Here we also call that as a CDT, custom data type. Okay, so we can create a custom data type for our purpose. Now let's say we have one interface, and in that interface we need to collect information like employee's name, age, email address, mobile number, and date of birth, right? So we need 5 fields, and for all these 5 fields, if we use one primitive data type for each, we need to handle 5 different primitive data types, right? And it will be very difficult for us to write these 5 primitive data types to the database, right? So we have to work with these 5 different data types, and then try to put this information to the database, which will be a tidy task to do. Now, instead of that, what we can do, we can combine all these 5 fields in one structure. We can create a CDT, custom data type of name of employee, and then we can create add this many fields so that we can collectively work with one variable, and then uh, write to DB and all, right? So it will be easy to do. If I give you the example of data type, now if you click on this, it will there are 4 options of creating a CDT. We'll come to this part in detail. Let me first walk you through the other objects type. Okay, now second is the data store. So data store is an object which helps you to connect with the database, and then bring the information. If you want to read the information from the database, we can do that, and if you want to write the information to the database, we can do that. So to do these operations, we need a data store to be available into the system so that we can connect. So in one data store, we can add multiple entities. Each entity will represent one connection point with the table. Let's say in our database, we are creating 2 tables. One is for employee, one is for the leave applications. So in data store, we need to create 2 entities. Each entity will connect with one table. So an entity will be also be used to define that where exactly we want to perform the operations, okay, to read and write. Any questions? Data type and data store?
Can you repeat again data type?
Data type.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let me create from the scratch. I'll say sample employee. Okay. So list of employee details. So I'm going to create a data type called LMS sample employee here. I'll say create. Now, as I said, right, if you want to declare a variable to capture the names like first name, last name, email, date of birth, so we need that many number of variables to capture all those information, right? But if you go with the data type, let's say I'm going to add a new field, and here I'll say first name. Okay, now in the type, you can see that all the primitive types are listed here. We can select text. Now we can have last name. This is going to be defined as a type of text. We can have DOB. This is going to be type of date. We can have email. Again, it's going to be type of text. We can have age, which is going to be type of number integer, so likewise we can collect all those different primitive data type in one place so that we can collectively work with the information at one place. We do not have to work with five different variables. Now let's say example, if I have an interface and I need to capture the first name, last name, DOB, email, and age, so we will require five different variables, and it will be very difficult to work with five different variables to bring the information from interface level to the database level. We will not be able to do that. So to perform such kind of operations, we need to collectively bring all those different variables at one place. Now if we are going to create a variable in interface, we will create only one type of variable, which is called LMS sample employee, which will have all these different fields. So instead of creating five different variables for each one, we will require only one variable to create, and we can say LMS sample employee dot first name, LMS sample employee dot last name, dot dob, dot email, and dot age. Right. So we are going to work with this information at one place. Okay. Is that clear now? So data type is
Yeah.
basically kind of a structure which helps you to handle the data at one place.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
It will be more clear. We'll see in details when we will be using this. All right. Data storage is clear.
Yeah.
All right. Now third is a record type. So what is a record type? A record type is, you can say that, a central place of your data where you can bring your information from different places. The different places can be some other database, some third party, right? From anywhere. You can connect your Appian record from to anywhere and bring all those information at one place. And you can also take an action on it. Now, let's say if I want to create a new entry into the system, we can do that through the record. If you want to update a record, we can do that. If you want to delete a particular record, we can do that. So Appian record is basically, I would say that it's a backbone, and in future it is going to replace the use of your data types. In future we do not need a data types. Record is going to develop in such a way. All right, so basically Appian record helps you to take an action on your existing data, and also it helps you to create a new records, okay, new entries. And in record you can also add a relationship features where you can add multiple records to bring the information and view the data in form of a combination of two different tables. Like say, if in database, SQL database, if you need to merge two tables, we use the join features, right? And we create a view. So the same thing we can perform in Appian record, and in Appian record we can connect two different records and have a join of the information. If you want to query the data from a SQL view to Appian, it will take some time, but in Appian record it is quite faster. So Appian record is basically it's a very important feature of Appian development. All right. Process models. So what is a process model? Anyone has any idea what's a process model? Have you heard about it? Okay.
The
Process models are,
flow diagram.
yeah, it's a flow diagram. That's correct. So process model is basically, used to define the flow diagram of your application. If you want to, I mean, where you want to, from where you want to take your data and what you want to do with the data. If you want to process it, if you want to update some data, if you want to write to the database, or if you want to send that data to some other workflow for an approval, right? So for that, we would require a process model. In process model, we have a variable called process variable. Process variable is basically used to capture all those information. So to take the information from one place to other place, we can design a process model for our workflow, according to a business requirement, what needs to be done with the data. Okay. The fourth one is a process report. Process report is basically, it's an Appian reporting tool where we can see that when a process has been executed, who executed the process, what are the variables it has, what's the current status of the process, is there any task associated with it. So all those things we can come to know under the process report. So we will require a process report when we will be moving from tempo to site. When we'll see site, we'll see that there's a use of the process report to display the task in the site, because in tempo page it's a out of box feature that has been given. The task tab, you can simply go to the task tab and see the list of the tasks, but in when you create a site, we will have to design our own task tab, right? So that time we can see the user process report as well. As I said, we are not going to touch robotic processes. So robotic task and robot pool, we will not be touching it here. Now, the other thing is called interface. So as the name suggests, interface is basically the UI design, which uses the cell code, self-assembled interface language code to design the interfaces. So we will be designing our interfaces for our application, and we will be using most of the layouts like column layout, section layout, all those layout for our interface designing. All right, any questions here? Record process model interface report.
Quick question. So is data type and record type, we can say they're same?
No, I mean, these are the two different entities. I'm saying that record type is going to replace the data type soon, in future, because record is being designed in such a way that we do not need, in future, we will not
Mhm.
require this data type at all. But it doesn't mean that we don't understand, I mean, don't learn about it, because right now, most of the companies are using the data type. So it will be useful. I'm saying it will replace, but not fully, right? Because app record has been introduced one more smart service called write to record, and write to record smart service is such powerful that you do not need data type to write the data to the database. You can directly use write record, and whatever record you have there, it will write the data. But that is not recent. I mean, it's going to be in future. But yes, both are different entities. Okay, you cannot
Okay.
take an action. See, data type is basically is a kind of structure, which is holding your structure of your data. But record
Mhm.
type, along with the structure, it also has the data within it, where you can take an action. Okay,
Uh, okay.
data type is basically only used to combine and bring all those information at one place, so that you can pass the information from one place to other place. But record type is like you are holding your data, and then you can also take an action on it. You can view it,
Uh,
you can update it, all those things you can
could
do.
you could you please click on record type? Actually, when you showed data type, it was easy to understand.
Okay, record type, okay, sample record. Let me see if I have any table. So this is a record type where we it says that, okay, from which, I mean, data model, we need to define the data model from where you want to bring your data. So I'll say, there are four places, there are four kind of records. Basically, we have database, processes, Salesforce, and web services. So you can bring, as I said, that you can bring the information from anywhere to it, right? In data type, it's just to define the structure of it, but in record, we can bring the data from database, any processes that are executing, Salesforce, which is directly mapping it here, and then web services, a third party call. Now, for example, we'll go with the database. If I click on the next, it will say, okay, from which database you want to bring the information. So let's say I go and search for a any table if we have. Let's say this is a table. So you see, this is a table is available into the system which has certain information. So it is saying that, okay, this is a table that you have in your that you have selected, which has this many information. Click on next. Now these are the columns that are available to the database. So it is saying that, okay, all those columns are listed here. I'll say finish. Once we do that and save all the changes, now if you go to your tempo page, and go to the records, Okay, so what we need to do is that into the tempo tab here, we need to enable this checkbox so that it will be available for the Appian tempo page. Now go here and click on records. You see sample records has been created here. If you click on it, it will give you the entire list of your data that you have in your database.
Okay. Okay.
Okay,
Understood.
now here you can
Yeah.
also take an action on it. If you want to delete this, you can delete it. If you want to update, you can update. All those actions we need to create. As of now, we haven't created anything, but you can take an action on it. So this is the Appian records. Appian records also comes with some default feature, out of box feature. Earlier we used to download this sheet, to download this data to an Excel sheet, we had to write a lot of code initially. But now Appian Records comes with the default download feature. You guys simply click on this one. If you click on this one, it will download the data as it is you have in your system. Right, let me show you that. You see this? All data has been downloaded here. Okay. So these all the features are available in the Appian record. Many things are there. We'll talk about in details when we create one. So yeah. Is that clear now? But you see that the data type is only to have the data, but it's record tab where actually we can go and take an action on the data and then download it. All those things we can perform. Okay,
Yeah. Okay. Understand. Thank you.
good. Thank you. All right. Now the interface, as I said, to display the information, to take an input from the users and all, right. So we will create an interface for it, and then we have report. So report is basically if you want to display the data in your graph. Sorry, is it? Okay. All right. Okay, so the report is basically where if you want to create any graphical representation of your data, like if you want to create any charts, pie chart, line chart, bar chart, of all those charts, if you want to create to graphical represent your data, we can create a report out of it, and we can display that report in the graphical way in your UIs. Okay, now the another thing is called site. Site is basically in tempo what happens is that if you are part of 3 or 4 applications, all those applications will be listed there. All those tasks will be listed there. It will be very difficult to find out the task, and to take an action on it. But a site is a separate, you can say, separate window for your one application. It's a site for each application you can create, and it will generate an URL, and you can access that URL, and it will give you a look and feel wise that you are working on a web application. It's a web application, and then it will be limited to for one application. Like if you are working on a leave management system, so that site will be for leave management system, and you can design it in a such a way, and it will like separate way. Not, you do not have to use the tempo, the group of applications access you have, right? So site is only for one application specific, where you can limit your views, you can limit the who can access the sites and all, right? All those things you can do that. Now the portals. This is the recently introduced to the Appian. Portal is also a kind of a site. It's just the portal doesn't require the authentication. If you talk about, for example, let's say you have posted something in your Indian in post office, like speed post, right? So whenever you do the speed post, they generates one number for it. Now if you want to track that post where it is, we go to the Indian Post site, and then we put that number, right? Do we need credentials there to log into the Indian Post site to check where is the my package, to check the status? Do we need to log in? Yes, no?
No, I guess.
right? We do not have to log into the Indian Post site, right? We just have to go and face the URL, and in the URL, if you hit that URL, it will ask what is your uh, you know number of your package that you want to check. We just provide our number, and then it gives the status, right? So we do not have to log in. Same way, Appian has come up with the portals where when if they have introduced any portal URL, when you hit that, you will be able to access certain data from it, not the entire access. As if you log in, you will have all those access. Like if you log in, if you have the credentials, you can log in and you can see all those application access that you have. But in a portal, you do not have to log in. You will able to access certain data out of it. It depends what the data they want to expose. So portal was very long waited service from the Appian, where they say that okay, uh, if you want to access some limit of some limited data, they can give the access. Now we have expression rules. Expression rules are basically you can say as a calculation window or some expression editor where you go and write your logic to do some task. Like suppose in expression rule you can create a logic to bring the data from database. In expression rule you can do the calculation, it will behave like a calculator. In expression rules you can update certain things. If you want to perform some update on your data, you can do that. So expression rule is basically kind of a plain editor where you can do anything. All those functions are available, all those syntax are available inside this expression rule to perform a certain task. All right. AI skills we are not going to touch. It's all part of ERP and AI. Now we have decisions. Decision is basically, it's a kind of a tabular structure of your if-else condition. Now let's say if I ask you to put a condition like if text is equal to A, type apple. If text is equal to B, type ball. If text is equal to C, type cat. So imagine how many if condition we have to write it down if we want to have a nested if. So there will be a lot of conditions, right? So what decision table does is that it allow you to provide a tabular structure of your data where it's kind of an Excel sheet, right? And then you can in one column you type A, and other column you type apple, and then B ball, C cat, D dog, right? Likewise you do that, and if you pass D to it, it will give you the associated word of it. Okay, you do not have to write so many if and else condition to fetch the data. So decision is basically for that, uh, take a decision on your input, and the input and an output will be structured in a tabular form in your code. Okay, is that clear?
So decision and expression rule both are look
No,
say
expression
look
rules, yeah, I
same
mean,
right
yeah,
now. Hmm.
yes, it's correct. I mean, see, expression rules, you have to write if else conditions, right? But in decision rule you do not have to. Okay, let me give you one example, it will be clear. Test rule 1. Now let's say I have to write an if else condition here. I'll say if okay, first let me define rule input here. I'll tell you what's the rule input and also don't worry about it. It is an input text. I'm going to type as a text type. Now here I'll say if condition, if rule input ri bank input text is equal to a, then say apple, else if ri bank input text is equal to b, then ball, else if ri bank input text is equal to c, then cat. Okay, else let's say doctor. Okay, now if I say pass anything here, let's say I'm passing b here, then I'll get this output ball. Okay, Now this many number of line of codes we have to write here, right? Now let's say instead of this, I would like to create a decision table. Okay. Now see, it has given you the some tabular structure. So there are two inputs. I would like to delete one input. I would like to work with only one input. Okay. Now I should say A here. I say apple, B ball, C cat, D doctor, else I'll say welfare. Okay. I'll save and click on, let's see here. You see we're getting that, and it says where it is matches. So how easy this one to understand, and then we do not have to write multiple if conditions, right? So here we are taking example of only 3 or 4. Imagine there are 35 to 40 conditions. So how many if conditions we have to write, right? So decision table helps you to write an easier code if you have certain conditions to match. Okay, got it?
Okay. So what language is used for the expression rules? Any other language?
It's a Appian. It's in-house and language. See, Appian is built on Java, but that's why if you see this condition syntax are very similar to the Java, right? In Java also we have if condition, else part, true part, else part, right? So it's similar to Java. But if you talk about the interface language, that's called Sail code, SAIL, self assemble interface language. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Now we have a constant. So a constant is basically is an object where I'll give an example. Let's say in your application we have 10 to 20 interfaces, right? And then all those 10 to 20 interfaces we have at the top we have mentioned leave management system. Okay, this is the word that has been written as a leave management system. Now in one day business says that okay, I would like to change this word from leave management system to leave management application. So what do you think what we need to do? So there are 20 interfaces, all the places we are writing as a leave management system. Now business says that we need to change it to the leave management application. So what we need to do as a developer, what you will do? Come on guys.
Yeah, we can create a variable of that name and then use it everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, see, basically, right now you have used all those places you have written this leave management system in the wordings. You have done that. Now, if you the business is that going to change that. Now, if you have directly written the wordings, you have to change all those 20 places, right? Now, imagine instead of writing it directly leave management system there, you have used a constant. A constant is you can say a type of variable uh, which can be of any type. It has a lot of type. Let's say, let me show you one sample constant. Now you see the type, it can be anything. It can be application, boolean, connected system, data stored entity, text, document, folder, any kind of constant it can be. Now let's say I would create a leave management word here. And we have used this constant all the 20 interfaces to display this text. Okay, now if the business says that I need to change that, we just need to modify this constant and all the places it will reflect the changes. So that is one of the use of the constant. um, uh, you know uh, uh, it will be very helpful if you want to replace a word multiple places at once. You just need to modify the constant. Other thing is use of constant is that there are certain functions in Appian which will require a particular type of input. So let's say there's a function called query entity, and query entity required one input parameter as an entity. So if you have defined an entity of the name of ABC, that if you type ABC, that will not treat it as an entity because you just have given the text ABC. So to provide a particular type of a input of a function, we need to use a constant. So these are the two use of the constant that we will be creating in our application purpose. Is that clear? All right. Now, connected system, integration, and API. As you said, these are the one family functions and objects that we will use. Connected system and integration and API. These are the objects which is used to connect Appian with the third parties and allow Appian to be expose Appian to the third parties. So these are the things we can do. So suppose if you want to use a third party service, we can use integration object where we can pull the information from the third party and then take an action on it or whatever is requirement to do on those tasks. So we will require integration object. Now let's say there's a third party which is exposing one URL, and that URL we have multiple services provided. Let's say calculation. This is a one service provider and which is providing addition, subtractions, multiplication, but it will require only one authentication. So if we do not use a connected system there, for each service we have to use different. I mean, for each service we have to configure the authentication. Whenever we create 5 different integration, we need to do 5 different authentication as well. But if we are going to use a connected system, so connected system is used to connect once and use multiple times. So what we will do for this calculation service provider, we will connect once, and same connected system we will use all 5 integrations to make use of other services like addition, subtractions, multiplication. So connected system is used only, I mean, to connect once and use multiple times. Now, if you want to expose your data to the third party, for that we will require APIs. Okay, so we will create an API service which will expose your Appian data to the third party. Yeah, any question here? Is that clear? I mean, this is the basic, overview. I'm just giving it what these objects are. We'll definitely talk in details for each of the objects, so don't worry about that. Just to let you know that what are the objects we have in Appian. Is that clear, guys? Any questions in connected system, integration, API? No questions? Okay. So next we have document. So documents are basically, if you want to upload any document into the system, like if you want to have some template to be uploaded, so we can make use of this document. If you want to, generate any document in the Appian, so we will be capturing those document into, we will create a document inside the Appian. So all those documents will reside into the repository of Appian repository that we will be creating the knowledge center, and inside that we will create the folders, right? So that's basically the document services. Group is basically used to secure, provide the security to your application and then define the access level. Like suppose if you are a part of particular group, that kind of access you will have to it, right? It basically defines the what security level you need to be given. So in the group we will be adding the members. Members is nothing but the users that we will be creating. So those users will be a part of this particular group, and according to the group security we can define what kind of role a user has. If I say that there are 5 members who will create a manager group, so all those 5 users will treat it as a managers, and we can define what kind of role a manager can have. Either they have a viewer role or editor role, whatever is there, right? So we can define by the groups. Group type is basically to define like it's a kind of one class of group, like we can define the LMS type, application type of a group. It's not being used that much, but yeah, we can define the type of a group. So one is a part of LMS, one is a part of LMS manager, one is a part of the LMS admin. So that way we can define a group type. Feed is going to be removed from Appian because feed is not being used much now. Feeds are if you want to publish any information, so they use the feeds. Yeah. And then we have folders. Folders, we have three kind of folders. One folder is, let me click it here, you will be able to know. So one is the process or rule folder. In the rule folder, we will be keeping all our expression rules, interface rules, constant, all those things we will be creating into the rule folder. Second is the process model folder. Process model folder will capture all those process model that we will be creating. So that will reside inside a process model folder. Third is a document folder type, where we will keeping all our document folders. And the fourth is a knowledge center. Knowledge center is not a folder, it's basically a parent, you can say as a parent folder, or it's a repository where we can define all those document folder within it. Okay, so knowledge center is the parent of the document folders. And root folder and process model folder will not be part of knowledge center, it is separate. So if you want to upload any document, that will reside inside the document folder, and every document folder should be a part of a knowledge center. So you can say that knowledge center is a parent of all the document folder. All right. Any question till here, guys? So these are the objects that we will be learning throughout our application development.
So where the sites that what we design it, so where it will be there?
Sites, it will be here inside your application, and every site will have one URL. So if you click on that site name, it will redirect to that particular site page.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So any questions, guys? Still, the objects that we will be learning. So we will be starting our application development, as we have already discussed about the lead management system. So how do we start is that first of all, we'll create some data models for it, what kind of tables will be required, and then we can create associated CDPs, the custom data type for it, and then we can have one Appian record as well to write the information, to read the information, and then we can have a customer search screen where you can search for a users or employee to apply for the leave. Let's say, for example, I would like to apply the leave for myself, or if I am a manager of 5 different people, I can search for those users and I can apply leave on behalf of them. So we can have a customer search screens as well, or employee search screen, whatever you say that. And then we can have a leave management process where we can fill all those information, leave details, and then we can have approval process for the managers, right? So this will capture your end-to-end workflow from applying a leave to get it approved, and we'll see how the records will create it all right. Any questions, guys?
So I just not related to the APN. Maybe yesterday I joined late, so you might have given that. Could you please give a little bit of background about yourself, if you may?
Yeah, sure. So I'm part of Appian development from last 10 years. L3 certified. I started my career with Appian development itself. So yeah, that's it. I've worked on the financial domain and then pharma domain. So yeah, these two is a major domain of the Appian. So and a couple of products in insurance as well.
Okay, yeah, that helps. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more questions, guys? All right. Tomorrow is going to be holiday, so we will connect on Monday now. It's the 26th January. So let's connect on Monday, and then we can start the actual development. All right. If meanwhile, if you have any questions, you can get in touch with Sita and Vani, I guess, and then we can continue on Monday onwards.
Yeah, can I know one thing that when will be the new batch that will be starting? Will be in the month end or it will be starting
It
from
started.
February 1st?
It started already, Sai. So today it was like first class. We talk about this, Appian objects and all, right? So Monday
Yeah,
onwards we'll start the development.
yeah, sure, sure. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
So today is the class.
I mean, yeah,
Actually
we did
included
that
in
kind of.
that.
Sorry.
It is included in that program, which is you are going to provide in 45 days.
Yes, yes. I mean, we talk yesterday. There was a demo class, so we talk about the Appian demo. We gave you the Appian, feedback. Today we started like with the Appian objects. What are the Appian objects we have? And Monday onwards we can start the development.
Okay.
Yeah.
Will we be talking about the deployment as well? So let's just
Yes,
say
we
we are.
will.
Yeah.
I will give the deployment of. The problem is that in um, the cloud instance that Appian has provided, right? They don't allow you to deploy the object from one application to other. So they has disabled the deployment feature, but we'll talk about the deployment, and I'll give you some screenshots which will help you to understand how the deployment process is actually happens. So you can practice it in your if you have any your environment, company's environment, you can try to do that. But I'll give you the details about the deployment process.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Thank you.
Yeah, Anil, we are going to create a WhatsApp group. Actually, the WhatsApp group they create the WhatsApp group once the payment has been done, right? Then they start adding the member to that group. So there will be a WhatsApp group where we will be sharing this recording link, and then any questions if you can ask, or for the further discussions, we will have a WhatsApp group. No problem. So sometimes it may go like let's say 1 hour training is there, but sometimes it may go 1.5. Someday it may get over soon because depends on the topic what we are discussing. Uh, if there are 15 minutes less in 1 hour and there's a new topic to be started, I don't do that because it will be very confusing. So that gets adjustable, and if you guys are not going to join some particular day, just let me know well in advance. If there are a lot of members is not able to join, then we can reschedule the time, or we can postpone the class for the next day. And sometimes we also do weekend classes, right? So let me know those things in advance. We can do that as well. Any more questions, guys? All right. So one request from my end, please do ask questions. Be interactive. That will help you guys more to explore myself, and then put more efforts. If you don't ask questions, it will be very kind of not it's not very interactive call. Then it's very boring. So please do ask questions. Uh, it doesn't matter what the type of. If it is a stupid question, that's also let it come. You know, might it may help someone else. So yes, please do ask questions. Okay.
Mm, Yeah, I have a question. Like, so after completing this class, like, we are good to search for the job, or is it mandatory to do any certification?
See, certification is always a plus point, right? And after doing this this training class, you will be able to clear your L1 certification. L1 certification is also a good initial level to proceed, and it will give you a plus point. Certification is always beneficial, right? So you will be able to clear your L1 at least. And regarding the job, as I said, right, it depends on your experience. So if you are a fresher, and you want to go with a fake experience, you can say at least 2 years of experience. Okay. Now if you want to go, if you are an experienced person already, let's say if you are 10 years of experience in Java or Python or any other language, so in that case you can say that, okay, I have 8 years of experience in my language whatever you are working on, and this from the last 2 years I'm working as an Appian developer. So go in that way. Don't go like I have 4 years of experience now, five years of experience, because the question will be according to that. So you are good to explain that you are 2 years of experience in Appian development, based on this training.
Okay, so is there any good opportunities there? So if I put like that, so if I search for the job, so uh,
See, here also
how is the mark?
in your WhatsApp group you will get all those references for any jobs that we get. For all those batches, still they are sending some. Whenever they get some reference of the job, they put it on to the group as well. In LinkedIn, you'll be able to find a lot of job references for Appian. Right now, his market is down.
Okay, we'll be
I'll be yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, will be added into the existing WhatsApp group, or
Yes,
it's
yes,
a
you will be
separate
added.
WhatsApp
No,
group
no,
for this
there is
batch.
a new group will be created for. So this is going to be 17th batch with for me for this particular training center. So this is going to be 17th batch. So you will be most probably you will be added to the batch 17. New group will be there. Yeah.
Okay.
What about charge?
Charge and all you need to discuss with Sarita and Apani.
Okay.
Be in touch with them. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you just give me a, clarity that market of the APN that's currently?
Currently, market is down because in the US, see, all the IT jobs depend on the US market position. So in the US right now, markets is pretty much down. Why? Because the government has the election is going to be there, and then government has introduced a new policy that companies has to be, for mostly for the pharmaceutical companies, company has mentioned, government has mentioned that whatever drugs you are going to sell to the market, you need to go to the government policy. So that's the reason they are cutting off the profits of the companies. So if government will cut down the profits of a company will definitely try to do the cutoffs, and the result of a cutoff is less employment. So that's the reason right now market is down, not only for Appian, for most all of the technologies. You see that Google is also now releasing lots of its employees. Paytm has done that. So yeah, but still, service companies are still hiring for Appians. As of now, I can see into the market. There are openings. I am getting at least one call a daily or LinkedIn message for Appian. Usually, I used to get 6 to 7 calls daily, but right now it's 1 to 2. So yeah, opening is there, but not
So,
like that it was there before.
oh, so once the market gets picked up, so it will be a good opportunity overseas,
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
So if you
Yes,
want
yes,
to
definitely. I mean,
pursue,
there's a huge
pursue
demand.
a career as a developer.
Yes, I was saying that, if you talk about the COVID time, right? COVID time, none of the company was hiring, but I switched during the COVID. Personally, I switched during the COVID, and then it was a lot of openings were there
Okay,
because
okay,
the requirement was
okay.
that high. Yeah, and the reason
Yeah,
is
yeah.
that now pharmaceutical companies have adopted this Appian as a their main tool. So many of the
Okay,
pharmaceutical companies are working on Appian projects.
okay, okay. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
All right. All right, guys. Uh, Happy Republic Day, well in advance. We'll connect on Monday then.